Hopeful that your season doesn't end up like your bungee jump.
What, in a crash and a splash? No, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously to have most of the team went through it. My pitching staff didn't, and that wasn't by design, but yeah, everybody came through it safely.
What did you learn?
It doesn't get any easier. It's the third time I've bungee jumped, and it was still pretty scary. So.
Overall, just bonding trip is probably the biggest part of it all. How'd you feel? How does the team come away from that trip? Stronger as a team chemistry-wise?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, obviously it was great to have a new player, a transfer come in, DJ Sanders, and the ability to take her over and get her to gel with the team. And, and my takeaway that she's going to fit in real well. She's a great person, good personality, takes things as they come, and just the ability to have her in the team and play and just get to know everybody. It was just great just because of that one aspect. And then, of course, some of the things we did, like whitewater rafting, and it was a pretty tough. I've been on several of those, and this one was pretty tough because it was really rocky, and if you didn't combine together, you're going to get stuck, and that's part of the fun too. But I thought it was really good. It was well worth the trip.
What about DJ Sanders and what she brings on the field?
Yeah, I mean, my first impressions were she was a better fielder than I even thought she was. I knew she was a pretty good shortstop, but just the way she attacked the ball and the way she read the ball and the bounces, and I thought she did a really good job. So I was impressed on what she did there.
Did you recruit her at all out of high school? Did you have any relationship with her before this transfer process?
No, not at all. Our real connection to her was obviously we played ULL, out here in a 3-game series, then played them back out there, and each time she impressed, along with Creighton, which is another one. She went to Arizona, but there were several of their players, and she was definitely one that stood out.
I imagine you lose sleep over losing Nikki Udria going into the offseason, and how you're going to fill up the middle and the infield. Just how big of a get is that for you?
Well, not only just with Nikki, with being a tremendous fielder for us and improving the whole time under Coach Spencer, but just her bat. Consistently, she was always there against good pitching, and frequently whenever we were behind or we needed a rally or we needed a big hit, she was the one that got that. So that's the biggest part of missing Nikki. And of course, she was a good teammate as well. But hopefully, with DJ Sanders coming in and some of our freshmen, Shea Bowden looked really good. She's very competitive. You're going to see a kid that really battles out there. So I think she's going to fill in. The Miri Iakopo had some injury issues with her ankles. She rolled both ankles in the fall, and so was kind of limited in the amount of time we got to see her. But we did get to see her down there. I think she's going to be a presence for us, not only behind the plate, but at bat as well. She's got some really good power numbers ahead of her, I think.
Megan talked about keeping it simple. Is that kind of your team philosophy going into the year?
Absolutely. It's about doing the basics. And, if you do the basics well, obviously there's 3 facets to the game. You're pitching, you're hitting, and you're fielding. And a lot of it comes down to just simply playing catch and making good throws. And you could see that last year when we struggled, was when we made bad throws, or we didn't make the easy play, and or we didn't execute with a bunt, or just doing the things simple that the game demands you do is what we've got to do.
A lot of the players from last year got their first experience of the World Series. How does that help a team moving into the offseason, moving into the next year?
Oh, definitely. You can't replicate that kind of thing. When under the pressure, you don't get 10,000 fans at too many of our games. So just being in that atmosphere and understanding that. The game itself doesn't change, but there are a lot of pressures and outside influences that are out there. A lot of media coverage, and just things are different. And so for us to be there, and the ability for our upperclassmen now to pass that on to the newcomers, you just can't replace that.
What was the competition like in New Zealand?
It was actually really good. The best game we played was the very first day, and Gwen Savekis hit 3 home runs that first day, and I thought, here we go. But that was all she wrote for her, kind of thing. She kind of struggled from that point on. But the competition was good. They had a very varied pitching staff. One of the pitchers, Courtney Giddings, is going to pitch at Alabama this year. Rita Hokianga, a left-hander, crafty. She had won a junior national title, I believe, for a team out of South Florida. So they were good. They have a lot of experience. They've played international softball. So just playing in a different atmosphere, a different environment. The diamonds were different color. Instead of being a darker, they were lighter. And there's just a lot of little things. But it was just a great experience for us to go down and play a different culture.
How do things stack up with your pitching staff as you approach the season?
Yeah, well, obviously Megan Kleiss did very well over the tour, and Maggie Balance struggled a little bit to start with, but then came through. So it was good in some respects because we essentially played the same team 8 times, and anytime you do that, there's always that tendency to start thinking they know you, And I think that Megan has done that in the past before. She struggled that second time against a good team, and so for her to face the same team basically 4 times and do very well, for me was good, and that's something we're going to build on going forward. Unfortunately, Miranda Ellis was injured and couldn't play, but right now she's starting to practice again, and I think she should be ready by the time the season goes.
What kind of step, based on the postseason experience, this tour, Kleiss now getting some national team experience, what kind of step do you hope she takes just in terms of kind of really embracing the role of being an ace?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to her about that all the time. And she's asked me, Coach, how can I get better? And I said, well, mechanically, there's not much else that I see that you're lacking in. You've got good velocity, your spins are as good as anybody out there, your off speed's great, but I just think it's her ability to tighten up in the big situation, to get that big out, to make that great pitch. And her consistency over location has got to be there, especially the second time facing somebody. And that's been the letdown for her, is when she thinks she's faced somebody a few times before, they know everything that's coming. So really, if you look at it, it's location, command of her pitches, and the mental side of it.
I mean, is she trying to do different things the second time against the lineup that she's not executing, or trying to do the same things and just not being able to repeat it?
No, I think what it is you start to give the hitters too much credit. And you start to think they know everything that's coming. They know you, and truthfully, they never really do. They don't know where the ball's going to go, and so it's that maturity thing. I think in a couple more years she'll get that. And as we go along, hopefully she gets it sooner than that, like this season. But that's something we're definitely working on with her, is to understand that the hitters never really know where it's going.
Was it fun for you to take your team around New Zealand?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we talked to them quite a bit about the cultural aspects, with the Maori and just the haka, and they've challenged me to do it a few times. When we go to the World Series, I give them the haka, but it's nothing like they do it, and. So just to see the way that the culture in New Zealand is very respective of the Maori culture, and it's like integrated into one, and some of the players said that, Coach, I can't believe how this is integrated and everybody respects the Maori and everything else. So it was good to see them see that part of the culture over there.